It's time for the banner clash of the USL League One weekend on the Paradise Coast, where FC Naples and One Knoxville lock horns in the battle of the only remaining unbeatens in the division. Tonight's match is presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Care for every goal. We say hello and welcome here from Paradise Coast Sports Complex. I'm Sam Goldfarb. Well, for FC Naples, it has been a historic start. You see the numbers on your screen, setting the record Wednesday night for the longest unbeaten run in all comps to open an inaugural season among USL League One clubs. They broke a tie with Union Omaha following their 1-1 draw that went to penalties against Tampa Bay Rowdies. And when talking to Matt Pullen, he's mentioned there is still plenty of room for growth and they need to keep up this positive effort, but overall thrilled with what he has seen on the pitch so far. A big reason for that early season success is our player to watch tonight, presented by Parker Hudson Homes, Jaden Onen, someone with a goal and 2 assists to his name thus far. Very dynamic in the final third. You've seen some budding finishing ability, also great distribution, assisting Perp as equalizer Wednesday night in a heavily rotated squad. He is the player to watch for Naples, always dangerous in the final third. Flipping the script to One Knox, this is a side that has undergone a massive goal-scoring boon under first-year headman Ian Fuller. Dare I say, the slate has been full of goals. You look at the goals per game numbers, doubling their production from a season ago on the young campaign. And Ian Fuller says, look, in possession, it's not a finished product yet. We're dynamic on the counter. It is about translating that to the build-up now. That looks scary going forward for opponents of One Knox. A big reason for the goal-scoring success has been our player to watch, presented as well by Parker Hudson Homes, Mark Doyle, a player Ian Fuller says, I brought in because of his counter-attacking ability. And when you see these clips on your screen, I think it tells the full story. In the open field, lethal in front of goal with a trio of tallies in all comps. Against Texoma especially, he was quite the menace to deal with in the final third. We are just about set for kickoff in the battle of the last remaining unbeatens in USL League One play. It is Naples, it is Knoxville. Lineups and kickoff next here from Naples. Stick with us on ESPN+.
Hey, same shirt.
Is it?
Well, yours is new, obviously.
It only looks new. That's because he takes it to Tide Cleaners, where we keep clothes looking newer 50% longer. At Tide Cleaners, we care about your clothes as much as you do.
How's it look?
Newer 50% longer.
Awesome.
Hey, same order.
Head to my.tidecleaners.com to get started. Look.
Here on Florida's Paradise Coast, you can play your way. Whether you prefer an action-packed court, a leisurely round of golf, or the thrill of watching a professional soccer match, your only challenge is finding a way to do it all. So visit a luxurious playground that scores big for everything from its award-winning beaches to its incredible restaurants. Because when you want a vacation where all is perfect, only Paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades.
We welcome you back to Naples, where we are just about set for kickoff between FC Naples and One Knoxville. Tonight's match is presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Care for every goal. We are just about set for kickoff, as we mentioned. It's time to get a look at our starting lineups, brought to you by the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. Big enough to handle serious cases, small enough to care. Well, we mentioned FC Naples was heavily rotated. Here is the full picture of the rotation. You see Onen still in the lineup, but up front, wholesale changes. Tyler Pasnick replacing Carson Henderlong up front, the league's top scorer, getting a well-deserved breather on the bench. Also, Mark Torreya sitting in that holding midfield role in place of Chris Heckenberg. And then Ian Garrett returns to the lineup. He makes his first start since March 22nd for Matt Poland's squad. So massive rotation for the third game in a week for FC Naples. On the other side of things for One Knoxville, this is a side with an incredibly thin bench. Just 15 available players tonight, so not a lot of rotation from Wednesday night's defeat at Colorado Springs Switchbacks in the Open Cup. You see Siebert Haugley and Abel Caputo starting together in midfield for the first time this year, and Mark Doyle on the left flank. Kempis Tequila still looking to get his goal-scoring account really brewing for Knoxville. He leads the line with a goal and 2 assists to begin the campaign. So there is your look at the full picture. Also, Sean Lewis back between the sticks, his first start of the year for One Knox, back from injury. Well, there is your look at the One Knoxville squad, a side that has opened its league campaign 3 matches unbeaten, but hoping to bounce back after Wednesday night's elimination from Open Cup competition. It is a side that has dealt with some alterations tonight, but far less than their hosts. A team looking to put the heartbreak of 120 minutes and penalties behind them against Tampa Bay Rowdies, one that still has yet to be beaten inside regular time. There is the man of the hour, Mark Doyle, number 14 in white, always the man to watch. A trio of tallies before being held in check on Wednesday. Just about set for kickoff. It is Knoxville in the white with orange numbers. Going right to left on your screen. Naples dark blue with the white numbers going left to right. Underway, the battle of the last remaining unbeatens in USL League One competition here in Naples. Welcome you into Paradise Coast Sports Complex. Sam Goldfarb, ecstatic to bring you all of the action tonight. 2 sides that dealt with heartbreak in the midweek in different fashions, but both that went 120 minutes, and we'll deal with the ramifications of that on a multi-game match week. Brown lofts this one over the top as Knoxville looks to establish a possessional foothold. And here is Jaheim Brown. As it's stabbed away, it is a rock-solid Naples back line. These are 2 of the best defenses in USL League One. Well, it's time for our keys to the game, presented by Florida's Paradise Coast. For Naples, it's about early game defensive solidity. Matt Poland saying you can't afford to give away early opportunities against a Knoxville side that can really pack it in defensively. For Knoxville, clinical finishing. We don't know how much of the ball they'll have, especially away from home. Long-range effort from Torreas off the post. Onan was bearing down on it, and Naples nearly got off to a flying start. Sean Lewis thrust right into the fire in his first start at 2025. Onan. There is the warning shot from our league leaders in FC Naples. This is snatched back. Numbers here for Knoxville. This is Zar Costas. Cross comes in towards Tequila and pounced upon by Lalo Delgado, the top goalie in the division at the moment. There is your look at their number 1. Leads the league with 4 clean sheets a year after being named All-League second team with Northern Colorado Hailstorm. Has not been forced into many saves, but excellent when called upon on the young campaign. A team that has conceded just twice in league play. That is one of the better outputs in the division. Richie. Blazing pace down the left flank. You look at all the numbers on your screen. It is a Naples side that has started to find its footing going forward. Matt Pullen saying, look, we're an expansion squad. That's the last thing that will come. But defensively, the solidity for both teams. Knoxville, it's been that way for years. For Naples, they have been a difficult cookie to break down. Both teams tied for first in the league with just 2 goals allowed so far. And Naples doing it with 6 league matches under its belt. Purpa. Fans, the injury report is presented by the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro, big enough to handle serious cases, small enough to care. Well, for Knoxville, 4 players definitively out tonight, including Jordan Skelton, their captain. This is a side that played 120 minutes in the high-altitude circumstances in Colorado Springs. They are dealing with the after effects of that, and that's why they have a 4-man bench as this effort comes in and whistles beyond the far post. When talking to Ian Fuller, he mentioned that it was a performance that perhaps lacked the ferocity required, especially in the final 30 minutes in extra time. But he said if that's our baseline, that's nothing to scoff at. They gave Colorado Springs all they could handle on the road away from home in that 3-2 defeat. Had the lead after 2 minutes and managed to scrape an equalizer late to force extra time. So unfortunately, someone needed a winner, and it wasn't us. Colorado Springs ending that event with the 101st minute dagger. There is your look at Ian Fuller, his first year at the helm of this Knoxville side. And we've talked about the revolutionary goal-scoring transformation to open the year throughout all competitions. And the bulk of those goals coming on the counter. This is a Knoxville team that has opened the year in the midst of a 7-match road spell before their stadium in downtown Knoxville opens up next weekend in the Jägermeister Cup. And he says, as a result, it's allowed us to counter a bit more as teams press the issue and catch teams on the break, but he's mentioned there is still plenty of room for growth. And while defensively he feels they're quite far along, things still need to progress in the build-up. That was the biggest thing that was lacking on Wednesday night when we spoke with him this week. Early on, though, a few more signs of initiative tonight. Zarakostas. Low cross, came to Tequila. Delgado intervening. And Cerro is down after an awkward touch. On the other side of things, Matt Pullen, the first-year head man of FC Naples, someone who has excelled throughout the lower leagues in American soccer, was excellent at the helm of Chicago House, a NISA side that then dropped to the Midwestern Premier League a couple years back. When you talk to him, he emphasizes the blue-collar identity he looks to instill in his bunch. Defense first, and then the attacks come from the defensive solidity. Last few weeks, starting to see the rewards of that, beginning to build out of pressure and create chances in possession more. He's mentioned that the positive start is certainly something they can celebrate, but it's April. There is a long way to go, and it requires a headstrong mentality throughout the remainder of the 7+ months in the quest for their ultimate goal. Richie is the first man in the book after that challenge. This yellow card is sponsored by the exclusive personal injury attorneys of FC Naples, the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. It is called against Stuart Richie. It's a loose tackle, studs up, earns himself the first booking. Ball over the top for Mikel Goling. And wrestled down a play by Jake Dangler. Well, lost in all of the shuffle of this Knoxville goal-scoring revolution to open the season. It's also a fair few more additions. Yes, they return 9 players that logged double-digit starts in league play a year ago, but the additions of course, the aforementioned Doyle and the likes of Mikel Goling, who's been instrumental in the midfield so far for One Knox, has done wonders for his third-year professional side. Richie. This is Doyle, his first proper involvement tonight. Fans, FC Naples makes their Jägermeister Cup debut next Saturday against Charleston Battery. Grab your tickets now before they run out. What a tournament that will be. FC Naples flashing its medal on Wednesday night against one of the perennial powers in USL Championship. At times had a chance to win that match against Tampa Bay Rowdies. In fact, Andres Farine had an effort cleared off the goal line in the 93rd minute. And in many respects, despite having relatively little of the ball, they were far more incisive and decisive with their possession, falling on heartbreaking penalties in the 10th round of spot kicks just before the goalkeeper. Julian Cisneros bashing it off the crossbar, and their Open Cup quest coming to a premature end. Goaling. Switch of the play to Jaheim Brown. Dances past Cerro. Comes to Doyle. No real trouble for Delgado. When you look at that FC Naples performance, Matt Pulland was especially optimistic about the response from his team. Said they went into the dressing room quite disappointed, and he said to his players, if you're disappointed that you lost that match, that's a very positive sign, because this is a side in the division above you that was tipped to win rather comfortably. And it definitely bodes decently for next week when they open their Jägermeister Cup campaign. Dangler. This is Perpa. Well, he's whistled for offside. There is the dynamic creator, Luca Perpa. Experience in USL Championship, MLS Next Pro, and now USL League One. He was the goal scorer on Wednesday night. Someone who has provided some punch for midfield. Part of a Naples squad that is one of the deepest units in the league. Cerro. Looking through. Options ahead now. This is Garrett. Well, lingering towards the quarter of an hour mark here from Paradise Coast Sports Complex. We welcome you to Naples, Florida. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action in this battle between the last two remaining unbeaten sides in USL League One play. An FC Naples side that has not seen itself beaten in all competitions thus far, looking to make it 10 matches flawless in all comps as they win this set piece. Costas, the man penalized. It is the Irishman Kevin O'Connor in the immediate vicinity. Toward the heart of the area. Stabbed away rather confidently by Knoxville. O'Connor. There's a packed crowd tonight, as it has tended to be since Naples' inaugural match. A venue at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex that seats just shy of 5,000. It was rocking Wednesday night. It has consistently drawn massive turnout from the Naples faithful. The club is quickly becoming an institution in the region. And the positive performances on the pitch have certainly helped that quest. Fernandez. Perpa. Ultimately no final product. Fans, the USL on CBS Sports Network continues in April. Hot starting San Antonio FC take on the reigning USL Championship title holder Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. April 23rd at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. La Barra 239 in full force here in Naples, just beyond the quarter of an hour mark, in front of yet another jam-packed crowd on the Paradise Coast. It is Naples and Knoxville clashing for the first time ever. And so far, a rather cagey affair between two of the best defenses the league has seen on the young season. Zarkostas. Goes out for the match's first corner. Fans' corner kicks are presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. First set piece of note either way. You wonder, in more of a nip and tuck affair like this one, if moments like these will be what makes the difference. Within swing, toward the near post, was headed on by McLeod. Ultimately rather underwhelming from Knoxville. There is your look at one of the top goalkeepers in the league in Delgado. It is a battle between two of the more established keepers in USL League One tonight. We've spoken about Delgado's records at length, setting the league's clean sheet record in 2023 and then in 2024 an all-league second-team goalie. But Sean Lewis quietly is the back-to-back reigning goalkeeper of the year in the conference. He's making his season debut, though. Battled a preseason injury. Johan Garibay stepped in and was excellent. And believe it or not, Ian Fuller says it's not a close case between the sticks. Says it's more of a 1 and 1A situation. Garibay is away with family tonight, so Lewis gets his opportunity to return to the side, but he will very much have to win the position back. Seems rather indicative of Knoxville's emphasis on defensive solidity, having 2 elite goalies. Doyle wins this back. And this is Tequila. Back for Doyle. Didn't contact it cleanly. Richie, one of the more exciting fullbacks in this league. Tequila. Beyond the 20-minute mark, feeling out process still continuing. And when talking to both coaches, you wonder how much of a drop-off there would be. The reality of the situation for Naples is they're playing their 3rd match in 7 days. A side that played last Saturday in a hard-fought 2-1 victory in a battle of the top 2 teams in the table against Richmond. And then, of course, going 120 minutes in penalties Wednesday against Tampa. It's no surprise there's heavy rotation, and it's certainly not shocking that Matt Pullen has appeared to emphasize defensive solidity. Naples not pressing the issue as much as we have seen in recent matches. For Knoxville, it's a little less chaotic. Their last league match was April 9th, but they also went 120 minutes Wednesday night, and considering the injury concerns they have across the board and only 4 substitutes, it's not shocking that they haven't skyrocketed out of the gate either. You just wonder, as this first half and perhaps the later stages of the match wear on, if this begins to open up when fresher legs come off the pine. Ian Fuller, someone with nearly a decade of combined MLS and USL coaching experience. This is his first head coaching job, though. It's off to an inviting start as that ball for Fernandez floats out of play. Doyle snatches it back, and off to the races for Knoxville. Much needed intervention at the death by Breck Evans. Beginning to see that counter-attacking prowess Ian Fuller emphasized this week. Just snatching it off of a Naples player and leaving multiple in the dust. Pasnick. His first League One start. Balls for Onan. He's looking for the run of Purpa. Snatched directly back by Torres. can get your game day gear on FC Naples' website. It is a slick-looking home kit, to say the least. Doyle, Rhode Island FC man, has lit up the score sheet since moving down to League One. Spent 8 years in Irish football as well. Native Irishman himself. Lovely switch to Garrett, sent tumbling. Stavros Zarakostas may face the consequences. Another Naples man in the book, and it is one of their more dynamic players in Zarakostas.
This yellow card brought to you by the law offices of Markel Shapiro.
It's not an ideal challenge. He's behind the play, clatters right into the back of Garrett. Could argue a softer yellow, but certainly meets the criteria. This yellow card sponsored by the exclusive personal injury attorneys for FC Naples, the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. Second man for Knoxville in the book already. Both Richie and Zarakostas walking the tightrope for a considerable period of time here tonight. Pasnik. Nobody in blue there to greet it. But you wonder his impressions of the start. He raves about his team's mentality, their ability to fight through adversity and grind out results. In that respect, Knoxville with no chances of note, despite having a decent share of possession. But also in terms of legitimate threat themselves, very little. On the other end of things, I'm sure some of the familiar concerns coming to mind for Ian Fuller. Not a lot of clean build, attacks dissipating as they approach the area. There's still work to be done in possession tonight for Knoxville. Bit of architecture on the turf. Our lead official getting his steps in tonight. Velimir Stefanovic, the man running the show. His assistants Marcus Moss and Nick Goyette. JJ Belinsky, the fourth official tonight, have not had much to contend with thus far. Just the 2 yellow card offenses. Made a clear statement about what the threshold is. It's not extremely high to be cautioned tonight. Pasnik. It's a loose touch. Comes to Mikel Goling. UC Santa Barbara product is fouled. The common thread with both coaches this week when we spoke to them was mentality of their squads. Knoxville's been built on the obdurate nature of its back line since joining the pro ranks in 2023. And last season especially, reaching the playoffs as the 5 seed in USL League One, despite scoring the least goals in league play. It spoke to just how defensively sound they were to grind out results. A lot of 1-0 victories, a couple of scoreless draws. Weren't quite pleasant on the eye, but given all the turmoil they underwent with dismissing Mark McKeever midseason and having Ilya Illich run the show the final 3 months, it was an admirable performance. This season there seems to be a mission to be a little more decisive in possession. O'Connor wins it back. This is Luca Perpa. Cerro ushering it wide. Floated ball in. It's not dealt with cleanly by Danny Fernandez. Tequila. Approaching the business end of this first half. Outside of the Mark Torres chance inside 2 minutes, nothing much of note for either side. Torres contacting the far post with a long-range effort that Sean Lewis may have gotten a pair of fingertips to. But other than that, it has been a match dominated by two of the better back lines in USL League One. Ian Fuller having a word with our officiating crew. And he's booked for his troubles.
A yellow card has been issued to Knoxville's head coach Ian Fuller. This yellow card brought to you by the law.
He didn't look particularly animated in that exchange. Either way, he might have to watch himself for the next hour. Yellow card is sponsored by the exclusive personal injury attorneys of FC Naples, the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. 2 players and a coach in the book for Knoxville. And they'll pull this free kick back. Stuart Ritchie with a second bite at the apple. Fernandez. Good ball into Tequila. Excellent stop by Delgado. Turning him away at his near post. Well, that's best against best. A man with double-digit goals in all comps a year ago, bearing down on goal. Delgado able to turn him away with very little trouble. Knoxville finally starting to twist the screws in possession. Corner kicks are presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. Just the second corner kick of the match. It goes Knoxville's way. And on the precipice of intermission, beginning to see some signs of life. It will be Zarkostas to take. There'll be more troubling presences in the final third for opposing outfits. Arcing towards the back stick. Haunkely mistiming his jump. Fans, this match is presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Care for every goal. Right now, both these sides playing this match with considerable care. Very little signs of opportunity either way. Torres contacting the far post. Moments ago, Tequila denied for point-blank range, but those are the only two major chances of note through 30 minutes and change. Zaracostas. McLeod under pressure. Goaling. Plenty of numbers ahead as well. Zaracostas giving chase. Back off to Mikel Goaling. Caputo. Jaheim Brown involved now. Plenty of space to cross. Took a deflection in. And Cerro bashing out of danger. In the final 10 minutes of the initial 45, and so far the story is Knoxville possessional supremacy, but still waiting for that bit of final third incision to unlock this ironclad Naples back line. Naples, meanwhile, pressing with far less ferocity out of possession than we're used to seeing. And 3 matches in 7 days may do that to your legs. Tequila. Growing into this. Richie. Doyle. And still Mark Doyle. Rolling out of danger. Fans, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Into the closing stages, if you will, of this first half. In a cagey affair between the league's last 2 remaining unbeatens. A Naples side that has been renowned for its defensive solidity all year. 5 clean sheets in all comps. For Knoxville, they have a trio of shutouts to show for themselves as well. 2 sides that are amongst the most difficult to unlock in the league. Fernandez. And as this wears on, you wonder when Matt Poland begins to think potential changes. Has guys in Farine and Henderlong that have played big minutes this week, but still in the matchday squad. Cerro sent tumbling, and this foul occurring just outside the box. Abel Caputo penalized. It's becoming a yellow card fest for one Knox. It's Abel Caputo who's booked, the third one Knox player. You see here he falls behind the play, drags Ian Garrett to the deck. There's no real debate about it. Using his arm to tear him down, it's pretty textbook. This yellow card sponsored by the exclusive personal injury attorneys of FC Naples, the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. And it sets up the Wave in a pretty enticing set piece spot. team that has thrived in set-piece scenarios to open the season. Torres, the only man in the immediate vicinity at the moment. And these are where Dengler and Breck Evans can strike. We'll see how he can mark his return to the side. His first start since March 22nd. High arcing ball in. There is no one in blue to greet it. Half space on the break now for Knoxville. Well, if you are just joining us, we welcome you into Paradise Coast Sports Complex in Naples, Florida. A near 5,000-seat venue here just outside downtown Naples. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. It's no score between One Knox and FC Naples. Very few chances of note either way. Both teams showing signs of tired legs after very long nights on Wednesday. For Knoxville, travel is involved with that as well. Costas is dispossessed by Garrett. Cleared only as far as Jaheim Brown, though. It's still a rocking environment here in Naples. They pack this place reliably. You can get your tickets for our next home match at FC Naples website. They make their Jägermeister Cup debut next Saturday against Charleston Battery. That will definitely be a fixture to watch. You can be part of a near 5,000 person raucous environment here on the Paradise Coast. Tequila. Dancing through defenders, and a late challenge from Dengler does the job. Torres now in space. Does Naples have an opportunity on the break? Stuart Ritchie ensuring that is not the case. It is a fascinating venue here in Naples. It's a massive complex with athletic fields for local youth teams, and of course the stadium is the crown jewel of the facility, but also many things planned for this development. It's located in the City Gate development, 15 minutes outside downtown Naples. And there's a number of high-end hotels being constructed in the development as well. So it's going to become a hub on the outskirts of the city in a year or two's time. And already it is drawing fans from across the west coast of Florida, which outside of Tampa Bay Rowdies has lacked a legitimate professional soccer team. This is the first ever professional soccer team in Naples. Push the ball forward to Onan, who's still struggling to find his way into the fray. Fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. There's not a bad seat in this venue. Brown. Laying it off now. Cleared only as far as Sievert Haugley, former Virginia Tech Hokie. Doyle. Still looking to insert himself in this. That is a dazzling ball to Brown. Brought down in the area, and the referee immediately points to the spot. Calamitous on the precipice of halftime. Ian Garrett giving away a crucial penalty and booked for his troubles as well. He doesn't have much appeal here. Fails to clear it, drags down Brown by the shirt. Maybe it's a little soft, but with the way the referees officiated this match, there's no real debate. As you see on our Physicians Regional Healthcare System replay, Garrett in the book. Knoxville a chance from 12 yards to open the scoring. A rare miscue from a usually sound back line. And Lalo Delgado with work to do. Stopped one penalty in the shootout against Tampa Bay Rowdies Wednesday night. Was a terrific save, but unable to replicate that despite getting his fingertips mere inches away from a number of other efforts. And it sets up Kempis Tequila from 12 yards, last season's top scorer for One Knoxville, who was so assured from the spot whenever presented the opportunity a year ago. It is Tequila against Delgado, who turned him away moments ago from open play. Well, more yellows shown for time wasting now. The Naples man in the book. Now maybe we can get on with this penalty. Can Tequila break the deadlock? Yes, he can. Sends Delgado the wrong way, and it's 1-0 Knoxville. Composure from last season's top scorer, and after the costly penalty, Tequila makes Naples pay. Knoxville 1, Naples 0. It is an assured penalty. You get your look at the foul initially. Brown dragged down by Garrett, who mistimes the clearance. And this is a striker's penalty. Sends Delgado the wrong direction, nestles it in the bottom right corner. No chance for Naples' lead man between the sticks. And Kempis Tequila with his second goal in league play here on the young campaign. Well, Kempis Tequila, the all-time leading goal scorer in One Knoxville history, breaking the deadlock on the stroke of halftime. A native of Germany who spent the bulk of his career in the German lower leagues as well as the Luxembourg top flight before finally joining One Knox last season. Stormed onto the scene a year ago with 13 tallies in all comps. And from 12 yards, makes no mistakes. 4 minutes of stoppage time presented by Tide. A 1-0 advantage for One Knox as the league leaders find themselves in a rare deficit. It's unfamiliar territory for Matt Poland's bunch, and I'm sure that will change the narrative on the team talk a fair bit. Tequila, excellent out of open play, but especially from the spot a year ago. Hardly left any doubt. And that carried over clearly to 2025. Someone who last season scored Knoxville's first ever USL 1 playoff goal. Came at Greenville in the 2-1 defeat at Paladin Stadium in the quarterfinals. Part of a historic campaign that saw them qualify for the postseason for the first time in club history. They are the first team since Chattanooga Red Wolves to hold the lead over Naples in league play. That came in their inaugural match, as Fernandez is sent tumbling after the late challenge by Doyle. It is Kevin O'Connor who stands over this. No caution shown to Doyle just yet. quite clear the first man. O'Connor again. Decent ball in. He's looking for Dangler. Falls for Cerro. Was worth a hit. No trouble for Lewis in the end. Well, by the way, during that time-wasting interchange, Breck Evans was the man booked for FC Naples. So he and Ian Garrett now, the two men for Naples in the book. There are 4 for Knoxville, including the headman Ian Fuller. But all that really matters is the Kempis Tequila opener. That's what makes the difference. We are beyond the 4 minutes of added time in this first half. Perhaps time for one final foray forward. Goaling has support ahead. Dangerous ball to Zaracostas. And still, excellent stop by Delgado. Parried to safety as well. And there is the halftime whistle. Well, the first half of frustration for FC Naples. A side overrun possessionally and caught out on the precipice of intermission. Kempis Tequila's 45th minute opener making the difference as one Knoxville leads FC Naples at halftime. FC Naples with work to do if it hopes to continue its unbeaten run to open the campaign. As things stand, one Knox in line to kickstart their best start to a League One season in club history. Well, that is where we leave things at the end of 45 minutes. One Knoxville with a surprising 1-0 lead on the road in Naples. It is time for the Physicians Regional Healthcare System halftime show, but before that, let's throw it over to the Extra Time Pod to give us insight around pro soccer in Southwest Florida.
At the back post and nodded in. FC Naples. Andres Farine, ambition in his eyes, squared, Henderlong has another. Vamos!
More tables, more entertainment.
And welcome into Extra Time, a weekly video podcast with Fox 4 and FC Naples, where we take you behind the scenes every week for the first season of professional soccer in Southwest Florida. And what a beginning to the season it has been. The votes just came in. Matt Pullen, head coach, named Coach of the Month in USL League One. Carson Hinderlong, the team's leading scorer, named Player of the Month for USL League One. This team is on fire, and it's only getting better from here. Here's my conversation with head coach and sporting director, Matt Pullen.
It was a gritty type game. They're, hardworking team. They're gonna foul hard. They're gonna, make you earn and fight for every ball. So really happy with our guys' response to the game. I think the only critical or critique I would have of the team is we didn't score the third goal, and we had opportunities to, and we kind of could have maybe put the game away.
Those 2 goals really stood out, especially the first goal. If you've been watching this team, that was an FC Naples special right there. Corner kick, the first header didn't go in, but you got the rebound and put it in right there.
You know, anytime you score set piece goals, and now we've had 3 games in a row with set piece goals, which is great. And to follow up rebounds, being active on second balls, there's always, you know, those type of moments of that's not it doesn't take skill to do that. It just takes focus and commitment. And Carson's goal, I mean, it was just phenomenal. You know, I watched it back, and he runs by 4 guys. And to me, again, I mean, it's a great goal and everything. It's less about skill and more about just the work ethic and drive he has. I mean, that's just the run he makes as a man on a mission to score a goal. And if you have that type of output from your striker in a moment like that, it just makes everybody else want to keep working hard behind him. But I told him in the locker room with the Coach of the Month award, I said, to me, that's the best award for team success, because you can have a player of the month that, you know, scores 20 goals, but you lost every game. The Coach of the Month only gets that award if the team is having success. So I said, although it says Coach of the Month, to me, that means that the team accomplished something, and we showed ourselves as a group to be the best in that month.
Join us every week on Extra Time.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 2 nights, get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Hey, same shirt.
Is it?
Well, yours is new, obviously.
It only looks new. That's because he takes it to Tide Cleaners, where we keep clothes looking newer 50% longer. At Tide Cleaners, we care about your clothes as much as you do.
How's it look?
Newer 50% longer.
Awesome.
Hey, same order.
Head to my.tidecleaners.com to get started.
We welcome you back to the Paradise Coast. We're at halftime. Knoxville holds a 1-0 lead over our league leaders, FC Naples. The halftime show presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Well, it's now time to take a look around USL League One, starting with the standout news and notes of the week. How about in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup? 3 USL League One clubs advancing to the round of 32. Union Omaha, AV Alta, and Chattanooga all pulling cup sets. An impressive accomplishment for the 3. Meanwhile, USL Boise setting an expansion club record with over 2,500 ticket deposits in the first week, an expansion to our USL family. And then finally next week, first round of Jägermeister Cup play. Both these teams in action at home a week from today. That should be thrilling occurrence in the league slate, especially with championship teams added. Now time to take a look at our USL League One table. This is the live table. So as you see right now, one Knoxville is second with the current result if it holds. Meanwhile, FC Naples would remain top, but multiple teams with multiple games in hand on FC Naples. So that gets interesting. And then as you head further down, this gets interesting. Perennial powers like Charlotte, Forward Madison currently below the playoff cut line. That is an intriguing situation. Our standings presented by Waste Management. And you wonder why. Why do the standings look this way? How about we take a look at our active scoreboard for both throughout the league, I should say. Our scoreboard presented by Ave Maria. This is the Week 7 scoreboard. Richmond and Westchester finishing 3-3 at City Stadium. That must have been a thrilling affair in the River City. And then right now at halftime, Chattanooga and Greenville, as well as Madison and Texoma level at 0-0. Those are actively competitive matches. And then the final match of the night starts at 10:30, the West Coast affair between AV Alta, surging AV Alta's side against an always game Spokane bunch. That's your look at the Week 7 scoreboard. Time for our upcoming schedule presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. For FC Naples, we mentioned the USL Jägermeister Cup beginning next week. They host Charleston Battery, one of the major powers in the Eastern Conference, before 3 consecutive road matches, including a trip out west to AV Alta on May 3rd. Chattanooga and Portland, as well as Omaha on the docket. Things get very difficult for Naples in the near future. A result tonight seems imperative at the moment. That is our schedule presented by Physicians Regional. Well, at halftime, FC Naples with plenty of work to do if it hopes to go into that stretch on a high note. They trail 1-0 at intermission. Our halftime show presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System will be back in a matter of moments. Naples with work to do. We will take a look back at the first half when we return.
The more you explore Florida's Paradise Coast, the more it becomes clear. With 30 miles of soft, white sands, all is beachy in paradise. With endless outdoor adventures waiting for you, all is exciting in paradise. And with award-winning restaurants eager to wow you, all is delicious in paradise. So plan your visit soon, because if you want a getaway where all is perfect, only paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades.
Luxury. More tables, more entertainment.
We welcome you back to Naples, where the scoreline at halftime presented by Physicians Regional is Knoxville 1, Naples 0. It's now time to take a look back at the standout moments of the first half with our halftime highlights presented by Lake Park Diner. Well, Naples struggled early on, but we saw the one big chance. Mark Torres bashing it from afar, Sean Lewis doing just enough to turn it onto the post. And coincidentally, that was Naples' best chance of the first half. They spent the lion's share of the opening 45 on the defensive. Right before the 30-minute mark, Kempis Tequila bearing down on goal, forcing this big save out of Lalo Delgado. And then the chances began to come in mass for Knoxville around the final portion of the first half. The big moment came on the precipice of halftime, the 45th minute. Jaheim Brown dragged down by Ian Garrett, who returned to the side, gave away a penalty, and from the spot, Kempis Tequila making no mistakes, nestling it in the bottom left corner for his second goal of the year to put Knoxville in front just before intermission. So that is your standout moments of the first half. It's now time to take a look at our halftime stats presented by Arthrex. You see Knoxville with the advantage in virtually every statistical category. Coming into tonight, a side that wasn't necessarily known for its possessional dominance, holding the edge in possession, as well as more than doubling up Naples in the shots category. All in all, it feels like a deserved 1-0 lead for Knoxville. Despite not creating many standout moments, outside of the Torres chance, there's really nothing coming from the Naples side, so plenty of work to be done for a Naples squad that was starting to reinvigorate its attack prior to those 45 minutes. Those are your halftime stats presented by Arthrex, and well, we mentioned Naples needing to reinvigorate its attack. They have a man who may be able to do a little something like that coming in at intermission. Matt Pullen deciding that enough is enough. He's making the big change. Carson Henderlong getting set to enter the fray. The league's leading goal scorer with 5 goals on the season is entering the action. So no messing about for Matt Pullen. Carson Henderlong is off to a flying start. 5 goals in the opening 6 league matches, and he has done it in every which way. From the edge of the area, bashing it in. He's done it on set pieces, and on the counter especially, wreaking havoc in transition. He just has a nose for goal. You see this goal last Saturday against Richmond to double the advantage. Also scored the lone goal in the victory over Spokane. He's a goal-scoring menace, the former Indy 11 man, into the match as FC Naples looks to transform its attack in this second half. So it is Henderlong into the action, or a bevy of other Naples players lingering along the touchline as well. We will have full subs when they are announced over the loudspeaker here. So Carson Henderlong into the match as FC Naples looks to flip the script. A side that finds itself trailing 1-0 at halftime. Its unbeaten start in serious jeopardy. We will see if they can transform it here as the second half is underway from Paradise Coast Sports Complex. We welcome you back into the outskirts of Naples. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. The lone goal scored by Kempis Tequila on the stroke of halftime. And Matt Pullen deciding it is time to bring in the big guns off the bench, including the league's leading goal scorer up front. And here is his first touch. Plays it wide to Andres Farine, a quadruple change for Naples. Henderlong is looking for Perpa. Clear only as far as Mark Torres. A statement of intent from Matt Pullen as he hopes to tilt this affair back in Naples' favor. Here's another addition to the fold in Cisneros. Well, get ready. 4 changes. Stavros Zarakostas exiting the action for Nico Rosamilia. So that is the change for Knoxville. Meanwhile, Garrett is out for Cisneros in a like-for-like swap. At left back, Pasnik vacating for Henderlong in another positional alteration as well. Substitutions presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Imolaki, more in Paradise. Imokali, excuse me. Ian Serro also exiting for Andres Farine. That is a identical change on the right flank. So 3 changes for Naples, 1 change for Knoxville. Here is Farine. Dynamic product of the Once Caldas Academy in Colombia. Perpa. This is Cisneros. Had been a mainstay on the left flank prior to tonight. Onan. Shuffling out wide to Farine. Well, when talking to Matt Pullen this week, he raved about Andres Farine. Saw his YouTube footage last fall and incredibly impressed. And it's also by his tenacity. At the midweek, even on 2 days rest, wanted to play small side in training this week after going 113 minutes on Wednesday night. Matt Pullen saying we had to tell him no. We needed to rest his legs, and I'm sure keeping him on the bench tonight was an endeavor in and of itself. But now at a crucial moment, he enters the fray with his goal-scoring partner, Carson Henderlong. mentioned it before, our substitutions tonight presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee, more in Paradise. Well, early on since the changes, you've seen the intent from Naples. Not just to chase this match, but to take it over. There's been more initiative in possession. In some ways, bringing your top 2 goal scorers off the bench in the second half when tired legs have started to set in on the opposition, even in a 3-match week, has its positives. And at some point tonight, we figured we would have seen them. As things stand, a lot at stake for FC Naples, a club in its 3rd professional campaign after spending its inaugural season in USL League Two in 2022. This is a side playing for its best ever start to a League One campaign with any sort of result tonight. FC Naples has a 9-match unbeaten run hanging in the balance though. And of course, for Naples, with so many teams having matches in hand, their quest to top the table would be in jeopardy with a defeat, as Henderlong wins Naples' his first corner of the match. Well, fans, corner kicks are presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. And on the 50-minute threshold, the first chance from the corner flag for Naples. In-swinging ball in. Nearly fell to Onan. Cleared only as far as Cisneros and Delgado. Well, fans, FC Naples makes their Jägermeister Cup debut next Saturday against Charleston Battery. Grab your tickets now before they run out. Run out they will. Mentioned it a few times tonight, but this is a building that has regularly come close to selling out, and this evening no different. A rocking environment, but one that has been starved of goals through 50 minutes. The only goal they have seen flown in from 12 yards, and as far as Naples fans are concerned, it's come for the wrong side tonight. Fareed. O'Connor. This is Onan. Plenty of space to operate now. Perpa pickpocketed. Tequila, the goal scorer. Caputo. The Lexington SC man who's moved across barrel brawl lines this offseason. Tequila linking with Doyle. And Henderlong ushering it wide. Ace to burn for Farine. Henderlong. Forced wide this time. Nearly fell for Perpa. Only as far as Breck Evans, 60-year center back in USL League One. Well, there is your look at Julian Cisneros, one of the younger additions, straight out of Loyola Chicago at 23 years of age. Started 5 of the first 6 matches at left back. Dealt with the heartbreak of missing the decisive penalty Wednesday night. He has been a revelation for Naples on the young campaign outside of that. And good to see him on the pitch after battling some cramping issues. Played every minute on Wednesday in the penalty shootout defeat. Vereen funneling it through him at the moment. And rightfully so, another corner on the way. Fans, corner kicks are presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. After no corners in the first half, inside the opening 10 of the second, it is an encore for FC Naples from the far side. O'Connor with in swing. It was a dangerous ball in. And that Knoxville can just scrap away. Ten minutes into the second half, this is the Naples side we're used to seeing. Not always a squad that overwhelmingly dominates possession, but one that flashes that cutting edge. Henderlong has certainly provided that. Not his finest final effort, but it did take a deflection on the way out. There might be a debate about this. Certainly took an awkward knuckle. You see Henderlong cut in from a very tight angle. Perhaps Jaheim Brown did get a piece of it. Either way, another corner in the offing for FC Naples. As always, corner kicks presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. In swinger again. It's dangerous. Fernandez couldn't quite knot it into trouble. Rosamilia looking to start the break. Switching it towards Doyle. Delgado off his line. Well, remember, as this gets later on, this Knoxville side, after going 120 minutes Wednesday, has just 4 available substitutes. They've already used 1. Goaling, dangerous ball in, was dealt with by Evans. Haugley, overzealous challenge to win it back. Well, if you're R1 Knox, regardless of result tonight, you have to be relatively pleased with how you've navigated through this stretch. In that interchange, Gustavo Fernandez was booked. When you look at how Knoxville's opened the season, this is the 7th consecutive match in all competitions that they are away from home, and that is because their stadium, Covenant Health Park, which is shared with a minor league baseball team in the area in downtown Knoxville, is finishing construction this month. So next week, they finally open their doors at that new stadium as far as football is concerned. Baseball team debuting there earlier this week. When talking to Ian Fuller about that, he's mentioned how in a backwards way it's played into Knoxville's hands. More teams pressing the issue against them. It opens up the counter, which has been Knoxville's strong point to open this season. But that is hence why he's emphasized better builds in possession, because when they move to their home park, more teams will be content to sit in and force Knoxville to take issue. Here's Vereen cutting inside, and that is well off the mark. But it is an interesting philosophy. Looking at it from that tactical perspective of we're able to do our game plan best when we are away from home. And when we head home, we may be playing in slightly more uncomfortable territory, even with a massive support that is sure to flow into Covenant Health Park. Here's the goal scorer, Tequila. Rapidly approaching the hour mark here from Naples. Still a 1-0 advantage for Knoxville, but the tenor of the match has changed in the opening quarter of an hour of this second half. Doyle. Ritchie on the overlap. It's a high arcing ball in. One that falls to Rosamilia. And Delgado able to pounce. There is that 5-star counter that Ian Fuller has mentioned on a number of occasions. Cisneros. Naples with half an hour to change the trajectory of this one. Farine linking well with Purpa. Cross.
Attention fans, alcoholic beverages will stop being served around the stadium in the 70th.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Well, on USL All Access this week, a nice little League One spotlight. Bobby Murphy and the head man of Portland Hearts of Pine, interviewed by Mike Watts and Devin Kerr. A great listen for League One fans, in addition to, of course, Championship fans as well. Purpa. Late whistle against Fernandez. At this point, you wonder when frustration starts to set in. It has not been the cleanest display. The referee has been consistent with the very low threshold for penalty tonight. And Onan was booked after the fact there for complaining about the foul. But all in all, be it the swath of yellow cards that went against Knoxville early or the penalty that went against Naples, our lead official tonight has set the precedent that it does not take a high barometer of contact to draw his whistle. Elmir Stefanovic running the show here this evening. goaling. He has Richie in space. Numbers flooding forward for Knoxville. Falls to Tequila. It would have been something spectacular.
Goal kick, FC Naples.
Well, he is what separates the two sides. From 12 yards, discipline penalty that sent Delgado the wrong way. You can get your game day gear at FC Naples' website. You can scan the QR code to get a better look at pricing and sizes available, etc. Henderlong.
Free kick, FC Naples.
Handball against Brown. So set piece for Naples. A side that has flashed its prowess from these scenarios on occasion, but has yet to play many troubling balls in tonight. O'Connor, far too tight on Lewis, who scuffed it. That nearly got a lot nervier than necessary. Well, it is his first match back in the fold this year. This is a routine claim. And he just lets it slip through his hands, some butterfingers. Very fortunate that one of his defenders is there to bash it away. A rare miscue from Sean Lewis. Corner kick presented by Anderson. It's taken short by O'Connor. Floated back in. It's loose for a moment. Doyle deals with it. Hereward Naples is readying a double swab. Chris Heckenberg and Mike Glasser Max Glasser, excuse me, getting set to enter. Gustavo Fernandez is one of the men to vacate. So Matt Poland continuing the coaching chess match with more changes.
Number 22, Luca Perpa, and number 6, Gustavo Fernandez.
Perpa and Fernandez out. Heckenberg and Glasser into the fray. Chris Heckenberg is a player that on a number of occasions Matt Poland has raved about. Substitutions presented by Seminole Casino Hotel Immokalee, more in Paradise. So Fernandez replaced by Glasser in a like-for-like swap. Glasser has been the mainstay at right back throughout the season. And Heckenberg filling the void of Perpo, which maybe suggests that he will sit in the holding role and Torres will have an opportunity and more freedom to attack going forward. We'll see how it plays out on the pitch, though. Henderlong nearly wins this back. And O'Connor did. All in all, Knoxville relatively fortunate that came to little. Heckenberg. Onan. Heckenberg again. Looking for Henderlong, falls for Heckenberg. O'Connor in space. Closed down well by Brown. Cisneros. Onan. Tries for goal. No real issues for Lewis in the end. More promise, though, from Naples here. Well, it's far more decisive and threatening than we saw throughout the first half, but still has yet to carve out a legitimate point-blank effort at Lewis. Onan coming closest out of all the Naples players thus far, with the exception of Torres. He's so dangerous, Jaden Onan. Player that last season went through his ups and downs at Lexington and battled some injury issues as well, but in his debut League One campaign with Forward Madison, he was nothing short of excellent. A Young Player of the Year finalist, someone who combined for 11 goal contributions in all comps. We've seen the potential on full display, and this season putting far more flashes of that in full focus after a rocky 2024. Cisneros toward the back post. G bashing it away at the second time of asking. Entering the final 20 minutes here from the Paradise Coast. The question remains, can Naples find a way to turn this back in their favor? Torres. And still Torres. That one drew Lewis off his line, but not much more. Mark Torres has had a number of half chances that have done damage. Puts his boot through it, not quite to the effect that his long-range effort had in the first half, and Lewis ultimately able to cope rather comfortably. Knoxville readying a change. Abel Caputo, who is on a yellow card, is set to vacate. Onan. Cisneros. Naples' unbeaten start hangs perilously in the balance. Knoxville could not nab a signature victory early in the season. Onan. Charged away by Brown. This is Mark Doyle. Influence that has waxed and waned in spurts tonight. Tequila. So Knoxville is making the aforementioned change. It is Angelo Kelly who replaces Abel Caputo. Kelly, the March 2024 Player of the Month, who's shown so much versatility in his 3 seasons with Knoxville, will step in place of Caputo. And this defense-minded change, Kelly is known for his ability to play as a holding midfielder. Substitutions presented by Seminole Casino, Hotel Immokalee, more in Paradise. Kelly opened last year as a right winger and then shifted back into his defensive mid role by the late stages of spring. And this season playing more in his natural position. You see him deployed quite deeply to begin his tenure on the pitch. The last 2 March players of the month on the pitch. Henderlong, of course, that for Naples. Tequila. And still Kempis Tequila. Tequila! Saw his name up in lights. Unable to turn it into a second, though. Just surging through traffic. Was trying for that top right corner. Ultimately, Delgado frozen, but not tested. Glasser. Naples looking more vulnerable on the break than we've seen in quite some time. Forced to chase a match for the first time since the season opener. Tequila. Penderlong. Unable to pick him out again. Rosamilia. Kelly. Read well by Henderlong. Has options in front. Not on the same wavelength as Zonin. Ritchie surging the other direction. Tequila. Playing it through. He's looking for Rosamilia. Fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to uslchampionship.com or uslleague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. We're in the final quarter of an hour here from the Paradise Coast in Naples. A 1-0 advantage to Knoxville SC, courtesy of Kempis Tequila's 45th minute spot kick right before intermission. Naples has been the assertive force, I should say, in the second half, but they have yet to really trouble Sean Lewis between the sticks. It is a testament to a Knoxville backline that has ranked amongst the league's best since the club joined the fray in 2023. A nucleus that has played together for multiple years on end, and even without Jordan Skelton tonight, they find themselves very difficult to break down. He still expects more intensity in possession, even after 120 minutes in which they grappled with altitude concerns on Wednesday in Colorado. So far, it's been quite a professional display from Ian Fuller's bunch, a team that has traveled effectively from one end of the country to the other this week, in line for what would be a colossal victory. Torres looking to change that. Playing it towards Farina at the back post. Runs out of play rather harmlessly. Sean Lewis shown the yellow for time wasting. Fans, this yellow card is sponsored by the exclusive personal injury attorneys of FC Naples, the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. First Knoxville man in the book in the second half, but one of many who have seen the caution here tonight. Fans, this match is presented by Physicians Regional Healthcare System. Care for every goal. Right now, FC Naples cares about a late plot twist. So far, there's been very few signs of that, despite a much improved second half performance. Farine. Torres, back for Farine. You see how many white shirts behind the ball whenever Naples picks it up. Defensive solidity, the name of the game for Knoxville, as it always has been. Tequila in acres of space. And still Kempis Tequila. Laying it off for Kelly. Took a deflection. Glasser can scramble it away for now. Decent chance here. Tequila draws multiple defenders. Angelo Kelly late to the play, but Dangler camping right where he placed the ball. Penderlock had a bright moment to open the second half, but has been held in check since. Torres galloping ahead. Not too far behind Cisneros. When you talk to a lot of coaches throughout the league, there is a mention of the difficult nature of this playing surface, but Naples far more used to it than their visiting counterparts. And while perhaps the ball hasn't pinged around as quickly as it would on grass, this being a turf pitch, neither side has particularly seemed more disadvantaged by it. And it's been a big part of the reason why the back lines have seemed to have the edge tonight. Right now, it's just one mistake from Ian Garrett, which has Knoxville in line to claim all 3 points. Taken quickly here. Inside the final 10 minutes of the initial 90. Naples still chasing. This is Breck Evans. It was an audacious attempt. And Kempis Tequila, our goal scorer tonight, will now make way. So after a strong 80 minutes in which he looked to be the most dangerous man on the pitch for large spells, Kempis Tequila exits. It is his goal which has Knoxville in line to hand Naples its first ever defeat. And here is a look back at the breakthrough moment from 12 yards on the precipice of halftime. Just tucking it in the bottom left corner. It is a striker's penalty. Sends Delgado the wrong way with his eyes, opens up his hips at the last minute, and a well-executed spot kick from 12 yards. He vacates for Babacar Dieng, who scored the opener in Wednesday's defeat at Colorado Springs. All in all, a strong shift from the German up front. He's replaced by the Senegal native Dieng, joined from Pittsburgh Riverhounds this offseason, and scored in all 3 U.S. Open Cup matches for One Knox. Well, Dieng, his second professional season, was exceptional in his 2 years at Ryder. Broke out in his sophomore campaign, I should say, with 13 goals, and went professional after that. Here is his first touch. Torres. Crafty from Torres. Over the top for Farine. It's Andres Farine! What a stop from Lewis! At full extension to deny Farine. Well, for one, sensational technique. Takes it on the half volley, but Lewis able to pluck it out of thin air. And does enough to parry it to safety as well. And if it finishes 1-0, that no doubt will be the moment of the match. Sean Lewis not thrown into the fire tonight, but excellent when called upon on his season debut. It's Farine again now for Naples. Cleared only as far as Evans. Marine. No way through just yet for the Wave. It is unrelenting pressure now. Well, fans, you can get your tickets for the next home match on FC Naples' website, or you can go to the QR code on your screen. Remember, FC Naples hosting Charleston Battery next Saturday at 7 p.m. in the Jägermeister Cup to open their 2025 USL Cup campaign. What an excellent competition that promises to be. Adding USL Championship sides, creating a true regional league cup in the USL scene. Rosamilia. Haugley. Kelly. Transgression by Breck Evans. Precious time will continue to tick. Makeshift corner here for Knoxville. And unsurprisingly, one of their go-to corner takers in Richie will deliver. Second would all but polish this off. A Naples side has been all over Knoxville this second half. Delivery from Richie. Falls to Doyle. Floating it back in now. Doyle. Rosamilia. Wrestled away by Heckenberg. And fouled in the process. We are inside the final 5 minutes of the 90. Naples staring at its first ever defeat in the face. Cisneros. Torres toward the back post, and this time Lewis has no issues collecting it. Fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Beginning to see Sean Lewis grow in confidence. Remember, it's his first match of the season. Missed the first 6 in all comps with injury, so he's still settling back in. That big save looked like the Sean Lewis we are very used to seeing. Onan. Dien. One back by Heckenberg, who sent tumbling, and the referee immediately blows his whistle. Sievert Haugley for a moment maybe thought he got away with one. Well, for one, he may be surprised there was no whistle there, and it's Kelly who actually winds up committing the foul. And this is appetizing set-piece positioning for FC Naples. There's no denying that. Heckenberg floats it in. Calls for Jaheim Brown. Naples' unrelenting onslaught continues. And still nothing to show for it. Dangler loses out. Dien rushing away. final minute of the initial 90, and we are hearing word that maybe a moderate amount added on. Nothing too exceptional, though, as far as Naples is concerned. Farin. Blows by Rosamilia. Henderlong. And still Carson Henderlong. Glasser. Decent cross in. Fell for O'Connor. Was looking to knot it back across goal, but nobody there to greet it. And now you hear the audible frustration of the Naples faithful. Well, it is 3 minutes of stoppage time. Stoppage time is presented by Tide Cleaners. Naples with just under that to change the way this is unfolding. Henderlong. Naples has only been blanked once all season. It came in a scoreless draw here in late March against Portland Hearts of Pine. That closed out an unbeaten start that earned Matt Poland March Coach of the Month. Cisneros toward the byline. It's a low cross. Once again, no one there on the end of it. Long throw from Cisneros. It's flicked on. Dangler wrestling for it. Fell briefly towards Henderlong, but bashed away for a corner. Fans corner kicks presented by Anderson. Trust your home to Anderson. This is the biggest Anderson corner kick of the match for FC Naples. Hackenberg standing over it. Low ball within swing. And still Hackenberg. Forced wide, Onan into the final minute of added time. Toward the back post. And too much infighting in the penalty area. And now some extracurriculars. Dangler very displeased. And you wonder if that was the big chance that was lost. Haugley and Dangler into the book before the night is done. Yellow card is sponsored by the exclusive personal injury attorneys of FC Naples, the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. And we are now beyond the 3 added minutes. Was that Naples' golden chance? Goaling. Ushering it back across. Delgado claims. It's their time for one final break forward. Hackenberg. Feneen. Henderlong. Ball to the back post. Headed on. Lewis collecting. And that may just secure it. There's the final whistle. For the first time ever, FC Naples defeated in league play One Knoxville winning the battle of the unbeatens and moving into the top 2 of the USL League One table. It is that man Kempis Tequila's 45th minute penalty which separates the two sides and allows One Knoxville to secure its best ever start to a USL League One season in club history. 4 unbeaten with 3 wins as One Knox makes an early statement away from home. Well, it is now time for our man of the match presented by Waste Management. It is Andres Farin who made a major change off the bench as a second half substitute. His half volley effort, which was denied by Sean Lewis, represented Naples' best of the match, but unfortunately for him and Naples, it ended in unfortunate fashion with them falling for the first time in the club's young history. Let's take a look at our save of the match presented by Carter Fence. And what else but this effort? Delgado denying Tequila from 6 yards, an excellent stop with both palms. That at the time kept Naples level. You see this ball just run through. Naples' backline switches off. Tequila nearly made him pay. Unfortunately, about 10 minutes later, he managed to convert the decisive effort from the spot. Well, at full time, it finishes 1 Knoxville 1, Naples 0. They hand Naples their first ever defeat in league play. Full-time score presented by Arthrex. We will step aside here on ESPN Plus when we return a look at the 90 minutes that just unfolded here from Paradise Coast.
Enderlong has another.
Vamos!
Here on Florida's Paradise Coast, you can play your way. Whether you prefer an action-packed court, a leisurely round of golf, or the thrill of watching a professional soccer match, your only challenge is finding a way to do it all. So visit a luxurious playground that scores big for everything from its award-winning beaches to its incredible restaurants. Because when you want a vacation where all is perfect, only Paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades.
Well, back here from Naples, where it finishes after 90 minutes, 1 Knoxville 1, Naples 0. The full-time score presented by Arthrex. FC Naples falling for the first time all season as 1 Knox continues its unbeaten start to League One play. It's now time for our full-time highlights presented by Maxwell Mortgage Team. Early on, Naples had a golden chance. Mark Torres from about 30 yards. Sean Lewis able to turn it onto the post. And then our play of the match presented by Physicians Regional transpired. Kempis Tequila denied from about 6 yards. Lalo Delgado keeping them level. But unfortunately after this, the wheels came off for Naples defensively. They switch off here, and then moments later they switch off at a crucial moment on the precipice of halftime. Ian Garrett pulling down Jaheim Brown in the box. Immediate point to the spot from our official. And then from 12 yards, Kempis Tequila directing Delgado the wrong way. Our play of the match presented by Physicians Regional. That was the key moment that separated the two sides. Tequila with the biggest chance. And then in the second half, a few more opportunities for both teams. I think Naples was definitely the more dominant of the two sides, but Knoxville kept them honest on the break. You see here, Rosamilia, the substitute, clattering that into the waiting arms of Lalo Delgado. And then this was the biggest chance for Naples. Andres Farin ushering it onto his right foot. Sean Lewis picking it out of thin air and parrying it to safety to keep FC Naples behind. And that secured the 3 points for Knoxville away from home. Here's your look at the full-time stats presented by Arthrex. You can't argue it's an undeserved victory from 1 Knox, although the stats pretty nip and tuck. Naples able to shift the possession in its favor in the second half after dominating the bulk of those 45 minutes. They take one less shot, but both teams only 3 shots on goal in what was a relatively cagey affair between two of the best defenses in the league. a very heavy yellow card presence, 11 combined yellow cards in the match as well. Well, at the end of 90 minutes, it finishes with a surprising Knoxville victory in this battle of the unbeatens. Knoxville, a professional display on the road to secure a 1-0 victory at Paradise Coast Sports Complex and hand Naples its first ever loss in club history. For our terrific broadcast crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long, where one Knox brings the surprise away from home. They win 1-0. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.